guys, welcome back to Reese's Shed. We're back on the 12-2K 253 V8 engine build. So we're going to get stuck into that today. Going to get these cylinder heads out first of all. I'm going to give them a good clean, degrease and scrub down, and we'll get them back in the shed and we'll assemble them. So stick around. Right guys, so all you're really going to need is one of these hole cleaning brushes. It's a Ramset hole cleaning brush from Bunnings, and what these are for is basically when you're putting Dynabolts or something in, you clean the holes out before you install your Dynabolts. But it's only $11 and they're excellent for what we use them for. Don't need to go and buy anything fancy, just get yourself one of them and that'll fit everywhere. So you need one of those. You need to give it a good rinse down with some workshop degreaser. I buy that in bulk, it's a lot cheaper. So yeah, need some of that. So squirt it all down first with your degreaser, let it soak in, give it a good scrub with your scrubbing brush, and you want some boiling hot soapy water, maybe also a bit of a cleaning brush for your flat areas. Once you've done that, you want to spray the whole thing down with compressed air to get all your moisture off, and then WD-40 to protect it. That's all you're going to need, guys. So very basic. Grab yourself some degreaser, scrubbing brush and some WD and you'll be good to go. The bloody pressure cleaner packed it in. Anyway, let's get to putting these things together. Alright, like I said guys, I've actually gone ahead and bought the absolute cheapest brand, valve springs on eBay. These are the LT1 Chevy springs and they're 120 bucks, and I don't know if they're any good and I don't really care, we're just going to run it. And yeah, I don't know anything about them, so we're about to find out. They actually, they look alright. But yeah, as I say, got no idea. And as far as this workshop goes, or the shed, it's not a machine shop and it's not a mechanic shop, so I don't have any way of measuring any of this stuff. So what we're going to do is just, oh actually, I guess I could measure installed heights, but I'm not going to. This is what we have. We're going to fit them no matter what. So we're just going to cross our fingers and hope. And if they're no good, they're no good. And if she dies, she dies. But fingers crossed that doesn't happen. So I'm going to go ahead now and start putting these in. Yeah. So let's do it. Okay, I bought this kit online. Bunch of different bits and pieces bolted together. It's supposed to be for an LS1, but we're going to try and make it work on this set of Holden heads. So, not really sure how it works, but bear with me and we'll have a crack and we'll see if we can get it to do something. So let's see. Alright, so this is what we've got. We're using it, and sketchy as it is, too bad, that's what's happening. So we've got to install all of these shims that came out, and going to use the original cups for the springs. I'm not going to give them a clean or anything, they're just going on. And the retainers, they're getting used. And even going to use the old collets. So that's what we're doing. It's budget, extreme budget build, guys. Alright, this is the stuff we're going to use on the valves. This was about 11 or 12 bucks. Super cheap auto. So I've never used it before. We're going to give it a go. Might be alright. Alright, it's a bit of paint in that chamber there, but not too worried about it. There's nothing on the seat. So I'll go and chuck this valve in there. Okay, beautiful. Next one. Alright, so we've got those in. Pop the rag under those valves so they stay up. And we'll chuck some valve gear on there. So we need to get the valve stem seals out, so I'll just quickly grab them. Alright, now before anybody has their 2 cents to say, I know these aren't the way that people do them anymore. But that's what's in the kit. We're not spending any money. We're just using what we've got, and we're going to have fun. So we're going to use these. If it blows a bit of oil, it blows a bit of oil. So I'll chuck that on there. Alright, that's one. That one on there. That. That's two. Now we need a couple of shims. I'm going to assume that they're all the same thickness. They look like they're all the same thickness. Give them a quick wipe with the rag and then we'll chuck them in. I'm going to put one on each valve. For anyone that doesn't know, it says this way is up. This side up. So make sure you put that side up. Alright, that's it. Wipe it with a rag, chuck them on. Yep. Same again. This side up. Boom. Well, actually no. Boom. Alright, a couple of valve springs. 1, 2. Couple of these. Look at that, guys. That doesn't matter so much. Alright, look at that, perfect. There you go, same again. Boom. Now, we need 4 collets. 2, 4. Alright, now we're going to try and get this thing to work. So, not really sure. I've been told these work on the Holden V8s, but I haven't done it myself. So, just something like that. Screw that on. Screw that on. Okay, so I'm no expert, but that doesn't look like it's going to work to me. Definitely not going to work. See here, that can't get tightened down anymore. The only thing I can think of is if I take that, well, that plate out there, which that won't help because that's the bottom plate. Okay. I have to think about this one. Alright, here's what we've come up with. Yes, let's see how this goes. Well, that's not going to work. Cups are fouling on the tool. Don't try this at home. Nope. Okay. That's not going to work. Okay. Okay guys, I looked it up online and this tool isn't really designed for these cylinder heads, so it was never going to work the way it's designed to work. So what I've done is I've gone along, taken the chamfer off, the tool here and here, and that way when these cups come down, they touch that and they just slide past instead of getting caught and distorting. And that was what I did to manage to get them in there and didn't create any damage, didn't distort them at all. So that's what I'm going to do. So stick around. Also guys, the tool is designed in such a way that it works on LS's, but it doesn't work on these, and I've had to actually change around the design of how this plate actually compresses the spring. So this plate here, I've actually supposed to have this bolt up from underneath and then run a nut down that to compress the spring, but this is on quite an angle, and as I tighten the nut up to the bolt to lock it in place, it doesn't leave enough room for the spring to fully compress before the plate touches this nut. So what I've decided to do, which works, is I put the plate around put the plate around this way, put the bolt in there, and then tighten the nut down, and that does the job. So yeah, just like that. And then what I do is I hold this in place here, and I tighten that down there, and that works. So that's the way I'm going to do it. Okay, chuck some valves in here. About to undo what I've just done.
Oh no, what did you do?
This is fine, but yeah, these are on a funny angle and I don't like
I can see it.
So yeah, this isn't really working. I'm going to have to figure out another plan with a different tool.
Oh no.
Hello. Never thought these things would be going back in an engine ever again. Look at this thing. Hey. Who would have thought that would have ended up in a motor ever again? Oh well. And that's it. Got the valve springs back on. Going to give them a little tap with the hammer now just to make sure they're all seated properly, and start the other one. Also guys, check out my acid bath. Yeah, work boots. Got my own acid bath going on here with me anything that's made of steel or iron. Been there for a couple of days, starting to do something. Don't know if it's good or bad. Have to give it a little clean up tomorrow. Definitely need to give it a good clean up, spray it with a hose, and then probably dunk it back in again. Who knows? I think it's working okay. Okay, there you go guys, I've managed to get these heads back together. These valves all sitting up pretty proud, so they're I haven't machined too much off there when I was lapping them in. The bottom one's a bit lower than the rest, but all the rest are good. Still got some life left in them. So the only other thing I was thinking of check is maybe run a straight edge across here. So I'll just grab one of those. Okay, so we've got a bit of an air gap here at the front, and then all the rest are pretty close, except for, which one is it? This one here, right by my fingers. So we've got a pretty decent gap there. So that bank there might be a bit hard to get my valve brush right, but we'll figure it out. And if we don't figure it out, it's getting it anyway. So let's do the other one. Shout out to Ziggy in the comments, offering me the cylinder heads and the fuel pump. Cheers, Ziggy. I'll be in contact with you. What a nice guy. There you have it, guys. 2 cylinder heads assembled. Run along, give them a tap with that block of wood just to make sure that everything's seated properly and it's not going to fly apart. But they look good. Everything seems to be sealing. These valve springs are really heavy. Surprising, but good. The package said 315 pounds at 500 hour lift, I think it was. And I believe it. So what we'll do now with them is we'll face them, and then we'll wrap them in plastic and stick them over there by the crankshaft. We'll get this block together. We'll do we'll build the long motor next. So there you go. Okay, guys. So we're going to start putting this block back together. The first things that you're going to need to do, get your all your bits out, make sure everything's there. Measure everything and get ready to gap some rings. So to do that, you're going to need a ring file. You can get them real cheap. I just bought one off of eBay. It's like $32, and I'll probably use this thing over and over and over. Comes with a few stones, some grinding stones. So probably not going to wear this thing out in my lifetime, but it's going to get some use. So check this out. So you want to get yourself one of these. It was just off of eBay, piston ring filer, and you get your rings, whack them in there, and then turn your handle. Can't do it with one hand, obviously. And you want to make these. You want to try and make these ends as square to each other as possible, so that when they are in the bore, they actually seal up. Alright, so let's get cracking on that. Haven't cleaned my pistons properly yet, but I figured I'll gap all my rings, clean my pistons, and then I'll get them into this block here. So let's do that. Alright, we're not building the block on this video, guys. Tell me if you can see anything wrong with this picture. I've gone and pulled my rings out, gone to push them down in here. There's just a slight, problem with the size here. So I think we might not have the right set of rings. Let's have a look. Yeah, that won't do. So, I'll have to look into that. Alright guys, these are the rings here. Good quality Hastings rings, but they're no good. They've actually sent me out the 308 standard size instead of 253 standard size, so we're just going to be waiting for this. We're going to have to come back another day. So that's a fail. Oh well. Oh well guys, what can you do? I'll see you on the next one.